Hey there guys, Red-Haired Maniac back here again. Talk to you about comics. I should probably do some other stuff. Call it, music, gaming, whatever. Musically I haven't picked up a whole lot lately. That's really kind of tripped my trigger. And gaming-wise, I just started a campaign or something. I'll get to that eventually. But now we're going to talk about comics I picked up earlier this week, so June 2nd, I believe, roughly when Wednesday was. I picked up 6 things. I'm going to talk about 4 of them. One was a mistake by my comic guy who pulled it thinking I collected it, and I'm being 49 years old, like, sure, whatever. Reading through it, I don't have any other issues with this book. And it's by no means a bad book, it's just not anything I collect. The other one I do collect, but it's a limited series, about 12, and I'll get into reasons why I'm not going to really talk about that when I at least show it up. Get things started, we'll look at the mistake that was achieved. We have Avengers Assembled, Season 2 Civil War. This is actually the Marvel XD series of comics. This is basically, it's more oriented toward kids and younger readers. Basically, if you watch the Disney XD cartoons, that's pretty much the audience they're going for. I do collect the Guardians of the Galaxy version of this because Guardians, I'm kind of a whore for it. Give me the raccoon any day, all day. What else? Basically, read the book, kind of in the middle of a story. It kind of flip-flops Civil War based on what you know of the movie and the original storyline, where Captain America and Black Widow are the ones pushing for SHIELD registration, and Stark and others are trying to fight it, and then they decide to work together, and Captain America leaves, and his group leaves SHIELD, and Ultron is involved, and it's not a bad story. It's just not really where I want to go. The next thing to talk about, briefly at least, Providence. Yes, I'm going to wave this around to the camera. It'll be great. This is issue 9 of the book. It's written by Alan Moore, one of my favorite writers. Art by Jason Burrows. I've read the first couple issues of this, but given it's Alan Moore, and the way some of his writing has gone lately, I've decided to stop reading it, because usually with Alan's newer writing, it's whenever you read it, and then you wait a month and read the next issue, you kind of forget some of what happened before. So I'm going to sit down and just read it as a giant 12-issue thing, and I'll do a segment entirely on Providence. He deserves that, but I'm going to tell you right now, based on what I have read, Alan's either insanely brilliant or batshit insane, and the line is really thin. Next book, Moon Knight. Moon Knight number 3. Moon Knight has had a long and varied history at Marvel. For lack of a better phrase, he's been pretty much originally compared to a poor man's Batman. And to a certain extent that's true. If you ever wanted a Batman writer, usually DC just looked at who was writing Moon Knight at the time and just poached them. Doug Munch and a couple others have pretty much followed from Moon Knight going to Batman and had successful runs on the various Batman titles they authored. That being said, currently Moon Knight is a prisoner in his own head, or a prisoner at the insane asylum, or some combination thereof. This is issue 3. It's part 3 of 5 of the first story arc. I'm kind of waiting to see where this goes. I know Civil War is coming up, and like any giant event, or excuse me, Civil War 2 or whatever the hell Marvel wants to call it this week, is coming up, and like any giant event, like every book's going to be tied to it. I have no idea what they're going to do with Moon Knight. He's batshit insane, much like Alan Moore. Maybe Alan Moore is Moon Knight, who knows. It'd be an interesting take. But, you know, it's like, how are you going to work where Moon Knight currently is into a what is typically was a fairly typical superhero story. Remains to be seen. We got a few months for that to happen. Wait and see. The next 3 books are actually related to something I talked about last week. DC dumped Rebirth on us. Interesting book. Again, to recap that, the DC Rebirth 1, Wally West Flash is trying to escape the Speed Force. He's figured out that someone has stolen 10 years of time from pretty much the DC Universe. He gets a hold of a number of different people, eventually comes back with the help of Barry Allen, and the caveat and the epilogue, and you kind of figure out, and they tell you who's behind it, at least initially. Dr. Manhattan, again, Watchmen fanboy. I never thought the Watchmen universe and the DC universe should ever meet. Shake my tiny fist. Yeah. What do I know? That being said, DC dumped out 4 books this week. I only got 3 of them because the Superman one was sold out at my place, and I'm not enough of a Superman fan to go chase it down. But we got Batman Rebirth. We have Green Arrow Rebirth. And finally we have Green Lantern Rebirth. Or, excuse me, Green Lanterns. And that's actually kind of a... It's an apt thing to point out. I'll talk about all of these here in a minute. Batman is looking for, he's getting a new Robin that isn't Robin. Beyond that, I don't know exactly where it's going. Calendar Man becomes less a freaky, goofy, haha, I'm doing a Christmas-themed crime, I'm doing an Easter-themed crime, and now instead he has become this guy who, like, pretty much once a week molts his skin and becomes a new person who retains the old person's memories, but the DNA changes slightly. So it's hard to pin crimes on him, per se. Don't know where they're going with this? Sure. Green Arrow reunites Green Arrow with Black Canary. They don't know each other. They're just meeting. They're helping out with some mysteries going on with the homeless populace in Seattle. Oliver Queen pretty much describes himself as a giant douche turd, but he's trying to change. Black Canary treats him like a giant douche turd, and it's the Black Canary that's been the rock singers of late. Again, missing 10 years. Not certain what's going on there. The Green Lanterns, and again, the plural is interesting and it's needed. There's a situation going on. I'm not going to explain the whole detail, but you have 2 Green Lanterns, neither of which I have personally met. Normally, a lantern dies, the ring passes on. Well, apparently, Earth has like 5 or 6 Green Lanterns now. But they come upon a situation, they end up facing a Manhunter android. Turns out it's a test from Hal Jordan. He's got to go take care of something with the Guardians out in whatever space the Guardians do their thing in. It's like, you guys got to work together. You've just met. You don't really like each other right now. Give me your power batteries. Hey, I'm going to merge them into one. And go. And by the way, I'm leaving space now. Bye. I won't be here, so you're not going to learn from a Green Lantern, but, you know, the rest of the Justice League around, so if you need to learn how to be heroes or take something there, you can get some advice from them. Sure, what the hell, why not? The biggest problem I had with any of these stories, and they weren't bad stories, they weren't great stories, but they weren't bad stories. They're going some directions I kind of like. And there's some certain things intriguing me. But the one thing I noticed with all 3 of them, and I can't speak about the Superman one because I don't have the book. From what I've heard, it's pretty much the same. Is none of them address the incidents that happened in the initial Rebirth issue. It's like, hey, we've lost 10 years. Hey, we haven't talked about it. Batman, who knows something's up, according to Rebirth, never even gets mentioned. And Green Lantern and Green Arrow didn't really show up in Rebirth, but they're friends with Flash of any form, and they're friends with Batman. You think someone would have picked up a phone and said, hey, we might got something going on here. Green Lantern, Green Arrow, that's pretty much it. Beyond that, that's it. It's a short one this week. Like I said before, I'm going to do some music and some gaming stuff later. Maybe not today. With music, nothing new's come out that I've picked up that I've been really jazzed on. So I've got 2,000 CDs floating around this office. I might just start grabbing random discs and say, hey, I'm going to afflict you with this pain. Or I may just grab bands and say, here's an overview. For some of the older stuff, that might be the way to go. But beyond that, Red-HairedManiac signing off saying, enjoy your comics, enjoy your life. And if people give you shit for what you like, fuck them. It's your life. Do what you want. Peace.